had legislate initiatives to expand a woman's right to choose. Very Catholic countries. I'm a very Catholic person, and I believe in every woman's right to make her own decisions.
Do you agree with Pope Francis and Pope John Paul II that abortion is murder?
What I agree on is that whatever I believe or agree with the popes on is not necessarily what public policy should be in the United States, as people make their own judgments on their own responsibilities.
News networks are not even getting clicks like that. So this shows like there's an opportunity for this, what we're doing here on this show.
Do you agree with Pope Francis and Pope John Paul?
Look up something in back check, kind of like cross-reference.
I should put the.
You say you look that shit up. That's the name of your show.
Yeah,
that's right. What really drew me in.
Remember, we want you to be an activist, and don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley. This is copyright.gov, U.S. Copyright Office. More information on fair use. Fair use is a legal doctrine that promotes freedom of expression by permitting the unlicensed use of copyright-protected works in certain circumstances. Section 107 of the Copyright Act provides the statutory framework for determining whether something is a fair use and identifies certain types of uses such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research as examples of activities that may qualify as fair use. Section 107 calls for consideration of the following 4 factors in evaluating a question of fair use: purpose and character of the use, including whether the use of the commercial nature or is for nonprofit educational purposes, nature of the copyrighted work, amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole, effect of the use upon the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work. Okay, so anything I use for you guys, hit me up if you want me to remove it, edit it, or whatever. Nothing is used to infringe on anybody's intellectual property. I don't intend on doing that, and I don't intend on profiting from anyone's intellectual property. So I'm glad to edit or delete anything that's any of my videos that I've used of anybody. So that's it.
Dime qué tú quieres, papi. ¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti? Mueve, mueve. ¿Te gusta cuando me muevo así? Así. Mueve, muevo, mueve.
Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hop, hop, jump, skip up on the floor. If they didn't know, then we gon' let them know. Drop low, giving them a show. We gon' give them something that they never seen before. Hop, scotch, 784. Bouncing on the beat while keeping the flow. Stop, watch, freeze and go. Cock-a-doodle-doo is what you eating off the floor. Pop, lock, do it by yourself. You know you the best, you don't need nobody else. Rock, hip, toast to success. You was born a winner, so you never nothing less. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, 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 wiggle. dance, whether you stand or sit. Pump, fist, do it with your wrist. Pump it back and forth like you trying to catch a fish. Hip, twist, do a finger kiss. Rocking back and forth as you make your body shift. Top, tick, do it like you sick. 2 + 4 is 6, and that's a arithmetic. Top, 6, we gon' let it rip. We got your attention and we not gon' let it slip. So hands up, move your head and know what's up. Now it's shoulders rolling while you showing them your stuff. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Bow, 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 shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle.
Dime que tú quieres para ti.
Bow, 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 shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle,
¿Quieres
wiggle.
que lo mueva para ti?
Bow, 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 shake, shake, wiggle,
¿Te
wiggle,
gusta
wiggle.
cuando me muevo así? Así.
Bow, 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 shake, shake, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Make you move just a little, 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 just a little.
One, two, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. A mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's time to check the mic and best to bet. I'm about to wreck it to the leather. Jealous people hate but don't debate. Just check my measures. Electric by design. I even shine in stormy weather. Attempt to meddle and tether this mental treasure, and you find yourself embedded in the chasm in the desert. Thirsting for hydration, no libation, empty kettle. Take it to another level, add the bullet in the shovel. Got you on the bubble, double trouble. See you stumbled, and this about to get repugnant like a kitten in the rumble. Quick to fluff and tumble, best be humble when we come through, cause I have you stiffing under. Mama wonder where you went to.
1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. What you gon' do? It's the KCE crew. We making you look like Fu Manchu. Proper grasshopper who with the kung fu. Cut and slice nice like Benny Hanna do. Take quick bites like the tip of a piranha tooth. Go ahead and steal my mic, watch it blow up right in front of you. We coming to give you something good like some Beetlejuice. Give you something good like some Beetlejuice. Who do you think you are? You ain't gonna get real far. Driving your shifty car, following Diddy farts. I'ma be a Twitter star. I'ma be a Twitter star. Keep dreaming about how big you are, cause we about to pick apart everything that's in your heart. Control and leave you torn to shards. Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte. Selling junk like San Francisco. Wax on, wax off Daniel, son. Selling junk like San Francisco.
1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm tripping cause my mind's gone from always seeing tragedy. Can't close my eyes cause it's around me, I just call it reality. Can't paint no perfect picture like an artist they can't sell. It's what they try to instill in me, but my pockets seem to swell. Doing it like them ghetto boys did it back in those days. And we been jamming Pippin Bun, long live UGK. And before Eminem, we had Bill and Gangsta Nip. But we don't trip unless we on the plane taking a trip. And these suckers trying to contest us, but they find out we ain't no busters. We much more than screw, we keep it gutter. Mic check 1, 2, y'all cannot touch us. We don't be causing no problem, son. Coming at me like Daniel's son. You would get defeated, wax on, wax off, out to the righteous one.
1, 2, 1, 2. That's mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. You already know. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Dude, I could blink my eyes and provide an entire fountain of sound effects pounding directly on your neck, having flashbacks of the tragic act back when the boom bap was replaced with pop rap or hip hop or whatever you call that. We need a lockbox or something to keep this weak pox from spreading. I'm heading outside of the outsiders, opening your mind wide. The silly rabbits are at it again, but they can't hide us. Sit tight, Mr. Hip Hop. We'll find your daughter. Ought to be easy. She emits a homing frequency. We picked it up back in 98, and we're actually surprised that it took us so long to triangulate her exact location. But congratulations, check it out. We about to get her right now. We already found the captors, trapped them and slapped them around, and burned the hideout to the ground.
Yeah, a 1 2 1 2, mic check 1 2 1 2. Let's make it hot. A 1 2 1 2, mic check 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2.
Yo, KC, you the shit this year. Yeah, I'm the shit this year. Well, I'm riding around town bumping shit that can feel. You the shit this year. Yeah, I'm the shit this year. And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something now. KC, you the shit this year. Yeah, I'm the shit this year. What? Riding around town bumping shit that can feel. You the shit this year. Yeah, I'm the shit this year. And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something now. I'm sipping Bacardi, visualizing on the farm Pryor. Catching boys from the life that we store in the party. My swag immaculate, kicking this rap shit till I'm 40. It's like electricity, just float the being easy with breezes and winding down and out, baby, I'm sorry. Switch the game, change it up, falling off now hard. Picture me rolling Maserati with some hoes in the back. Switching lanes, taking pictures with a bitch in my lap. Clap your hands, everybody, if you feel this shit. KC, bingo, on the mic, and that's it. Take a trip down south that we call the Abyss. Most curious about my silver Air Force. And we receiving major paper from multiple sources. Of course, it's the bosses that handle the business. Spice the game a little bit, cause the flavor diminished. Like Kane and Old Dog, we society's menace. Yeah. 1, 2, 3 into the 4. KC, bingo, knocking at your door. Here it is again. Let's go, KC, you the shit this year. Yeah, I'm the shit this year. Well, I'm riding around town, bumping shit that can feel. You the shit this year. Yeah, I'm the shit this year. And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give me something KC, now. You the shit this year. Yeah, I'm the shit this year. What? Riding around town, bumping shit that can feel. You the shit this year. Yeah, I'm the shit this year. And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something now. Attack the track like a lion, cause I'm so ferocious. When the wind blow, I fly, cause my image on posters. It be wise to decide to not try to approach us. Get burnt like bread when it's stuck in the toaster. And you hoes like clothes, I told you I fold you. In the mornings I have Folgers with my doja. I suppose it's time to smell the roses. Clear my mind, check the snakes is close. And keep my status, but stamina, swagging on niggas just amateurs. Style stay funkin' and cannabis. It's scandalous the way these bitches try to handle us. It's city balls, ball swords, and my Polaroid camera. I want my niggas on the propaganda. Welcome to this extravaganza. Hennessy, sipping weed, smoking enhancer. Even though we know that way to go is not the answer, I won't chance the opportunity to blow this shit. Take a shot at the target, and I'm not gon' miss. Kicking, flipping, splitting, rip these rap niggas to bits. Let's go, KC, you the shit this year. Yeah, I'm the shit this year. What? I'm riding around town, bumping shit that can bingo, you the shit this year. Yeah, I'm the shit this year. And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something now. KC, you the shit this year. Yeah, I'm the shit this year. What? Riding around town, bumping shit that can bingo, you the shit this year. Yeah, I'm the shit this year. And we gon' keep it moving, grooving, give you something now. Like that. I like that, y'all. Like that, like that, like that, y'all. Like hit it with the whip of all that, y'all. Like that, y'all. Like that, y'all. Here it is, KC King Chaka.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, we want you to be an activist, and don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Please. Man, I got music in the background.
Of their families. A woman has a right to choose, to live up to her responsibility. It's up to her doctor, her family, her husband, her significant other, and her God. This talk of politicizing all of this, I think, is something uniquely American and not right. Other countries, Ireland, Italy, Mexico, have had legislate initiatives to expand a woman's right to choose. Very Catholic countries. I'm a very Catholic person, and I believe in every woman's right to make her own decisions.
Do you agree with
Yeah, so you know, I cannot like Nancy Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi. I'm sorry. I cannot like her, but I can agree with what she's saying, and I'm agreeing with her right now. I cannot like the fact that her husband is trading stocks, and he seems to be really good at it, and it just so happens to be connected with the legislations that she comes across her desk. That's not cool. But what she's saying right here in this clip, I'm standing on that. You know what I'm saying? Basically, she's saying, my religious beliefs are beside the point of, what's best for the American people or whatever. And it's like, and she's like, other countries pretty much got this worked out as far as like a lot of other countries do, and it's not so political like it is here. And she said it's not cool that it's political. You know what I'm saying? It's a real simple thing, you know. I don't know. That's just where I am on it. But we talked about this for like I don't know how many hours as far as that, women's rights and reproduction rights and abortion and all of that. We really went deep on that. But so like I said though, I cannot like Nancy Pelosi, and I cannot like some of the stuff she does. You know what I'm saying? But I can still agree with her when she's saying something that makes fucking sense. One thing that bothers me about the culture that we live in, it's like, okay, Nancy Pelosi, she's the demon, she's the devil. I don't have to listen to nothing she say or whatever the hell. Like, that's stupid. Like, that's dumb. Like, okay, you don't have to listen to her. You don't. You don't have to listen to her. You don't have to listen to anybody on the planet. Okay? But when somebody on the planet is saying something that's beneficial to you, you should listen. Super simple. Let me read this. It says, Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Thursday she sees the political firestorm over abortion as uniquely American, noting heavily Catholic countries have expanded access for women. I'm a very Catholic person, and I believe in every woman's right to make her own decisions, Pelosi said. When asked if she agrees with popes on the subject, she replied, whatever I agree with the Pope on, it's not necessarily what public policy should be in the United States. Pelosi cited Ireland, Italy, and Mexico examples of Catholic countries with abortion protections. Ireland voted to axe prohibition on abortions in 2018. Mexico's highest court ruled in 2021 that abortion can't be punished as a crime. Italy legalized abortion in 1978 with some exceptions, though there have been some recent erosions on those rights. The music. That shit's gonna. Hope it don't give me no fucking copyright.
All this food away. So Ollie and I packed it up and decided to bless the less fortunate.
Hey, yo, what's up? You got y'all hungry, man? We got some food, man. Yes, sir. Man, got some eggs and shit up in here, man. Some sausage. You know what I'm saying? Some fruit. Man. Yeah, man. Have a good one. Have a blessed guy. You hungry, my guy? Look, man, I got some food for you right here. Some breakfast. I'm talking about some eggs, some bacon, some.
My job was going to throw all this food away.
Man, what I say about that is just do it. Don't post it. Don't post it. Just do it. It's heaven. I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. That's a really nice picture right there. I used to be into photography. I'm into art. So I think artists around the world, if you're into any kind of art, then you appreciate art, basic art. So art is art is art. You know, these pictures that y'all put on Instagram, maybe some of them are art, but for the most part, it's just tits and ass. Oh shit, what did I do? This damn music, bro. That's That's so cheesy. Did Tyrese make this himself?
Look at this.
That's so obviously not a thing. Like that's not. I don't know. Maybe let me go back. Maybe I'm jumping the gun here. Let me go back. It just doesn't look real. Oh shit. It just doesn't look real to me. It looks like it's CGI or whatever behind the houses right there. That's what it looks like right there. To me. Like something's not real in the picture.
Look at this.
I'm gonna go with that's not real.
Life is what it is, but life is not what's made of what's life was.
What?
I think that life is what it is, but life is not what's made of what's life was.
What?
I think that life is
I think that you high.
Could soon disappear from Atlanta because of a new ordinance cracking down on who's able to rent out their home. The compliance deadline extended just this week as debate over the new rules continues to heat up. Savannah Lewis reports.
We have everything here that a guest would need.
Kathy McClure loves being a short-term rental host.
This is part of.
I'm just kind of farting around a bit to give people time to get in here.
Got my jury on my shirt off. Turn a phone on D&D on.
Side, 48% have become homeless, 47% have become addicted to drugs and substances, and 29% have actually had to engage in sex work.
You're not going to guilt me into accepting him as a woman because you feel like if he makes a bad decision, that it's going to be my fault. No. If he were to listen to me, I wouldn't have to worry about those things. Because let's talk about some of those numbers that you mentioned. Mm-hmm. Even when Joe Biden, during his presidential debate, was talking about legalizing young children transitioning, he said his reason was because so many transgender women of color had been murdered. And he said, I think the number now is up to 17. Now, as a leader in the Black community, there are thousands of Black men that have been murdered. But you won't hear Joe Biden talk about that because those Black men did not have a wig on. So I'm not going to elevate. Excuse me. I'm not done. Politics. I'm not going to elevate. I'm not going to elevate the issue of transgenderism over Black men because at the end of the day, y'all still Black men.
1%.
If it isn't good old Lake March.
stealing gasoline, then selling it at cheaper prices. Virginia Beach police charged cheaper.
When you have sex with me, I expect you to give it to me. Like anytime, anywhere.
What you want me to know?
My sex drive is
Okay, so this is what I want you to know. When I be wanting to have sex, right? I ain't no raping ass nigga. I'm too gangster, right? I'm fly. Too fly for that. I'm a real gangster. That's nasty. But like, you my girl. When I want sex, I'm gonna wake you up and just have sex.
Yeah, I want you to wake me up.
I'm just gonna have sex. Ain't no big let's have sex. I'm finna just go down there.
Well, I mean, fuck. When I try to wake you up, I woke you up this morning. I said, man, I'm trying to fuck you.
I'm just finna go down there and I'm tired.
Well, I ain't doing that to you because you blew on me today for waking you up. So, what? How else can I go about it?
I'm just gonna. Nigga ain't care about no Madel talk. Madel? You know Madel?
I was trying to have sex today.
You know Madel?
No.
Madel talk. Tomato talk. Just Madel. Now.
Oh, like.
I do some Daffy or something. Daffy, yeah.
So okay.
You see how I did me when I did me? I don't
fucking remember. I was tired.
I just pulled up. What it is? Let me skin you right quick. Let go on there right quick.
Beautiful. I'm feeling beautiful. I'm feeling beautiful.
Like what you celebrating? I'm all for your labor on that day. Go to work. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think white people should get off for Juneteenth. Like what you celebrating? I'm all for your labor on that day. Go to work.
Of how bad he was. I'm a bad nigga. And I said, brother, I said, Jesus doesn't make niggas. Niggas are the product of white people. Well, why do you want to stay where the white man puts you? Ain't you tired of being a nigger? Ain't you tired of being a low-life, lying, crooked, stealing, gambling freak? Impressed me of how bad he was. I'm a bad nigga. And I said, brother, I said, Jesus doesn't make niggas. Niggas are the product of white people. Well, why do you want to stay where the white man puts you? Ain't you tired of being a nigger? Ain't you tired of being a low-life, lying, crooked, stealing, gambling freak?
Kiss me. Yeah, I almost played it 3 times. I don't need to make no comments, I don't think. Let me read. This was posted by Captain Muhammad. Who's that? I don't know who that is. Brother Ben X? It's not Brother Ben X because it says Brother Ray. I don't know who this is. Anyways, he says, "You see why I have no problem giving my life to protect this man." Who is this? Let's go to his page because I don't know who this is. Captain Muhammad. Dennis Muhammad. Okay. Okay, I just need to know who it was. Be following random people sometimes. I really haven't followed any new people in a while on my Instagram. I've been building this Instagram for a long time. I think that you guys get the benefit of it. I mean, hey. Y'all see that shit? I played this in the background at last night's show, and I kind of wanted to talk about it, but we was talking about something serious at the time, so I didn't want to break that up. But look at this. For y'all that can see. Freaking, okay, so it's like the light was red. The light is red, and it looks like there was a truck making a left turn. I'm sure it was a legal left because the light was red, so he probably had a protected left with a light. And so there's a car and a motorcycle that ran the light. They're both speeding fast. Maybe they were racing. I don't know what the fuck they were doing, but they both ran the light like almost at the same time. But the car is on the left side, so it got hit by the truck. And the motorcycle made it through the wreck somehow. It did untouched. That's crazy.
Vice President's leading that's getting kicked off today. On a background call last night, we were told that it's going to be different from the Disinformation Governance Board in that it's going to focus on illegal conduct online. But the memo creating it was a little bit broader and mentioned, and I'm quoting from the document, quote, online harassment, abuse, and disinformation campaigns targeting women and LGBTQI plus individuals who are public and political figures. Can you clear up the disinformation charge?
So I would need to talk to her team. I was not on the background call, so that specific language that you're providing to me, I would just have to check in with her. I would also encourage you to check as well with her team. I can't say more because I wasn't on the background call.
And the first one on the online policy task force that the Vice President's leading.
I don't see no point in that. Like, people be, I don't know. I'm not even gonna comment. Let's keep it moving. This channel right here is a trip, bro. I guess it's because of I used to work in a warehouse, and I know how to solder and drill and shit like that. Whenever this channel really, like, I could just sit here and watch this one all day because they be doing, let me go here and show y'all. It's called Beaver Arts. It's pretty cool. They're always like, they just show people making stuff and just like random cool shit. Anyways, I'm not gonna play much of this because this is really for visual watchers that but if y'all curious into that, I think I'm gonna start getting into it. The title is Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, Pop Culture and Politics. I wanted to talk a little bit about Lenny Bruce because I didn't know who he was, and I think it's funny the thing with Richard Pryor and Marlon Brando, and I hadn't heard that before, so I thought that was interesting. So I want to touch on that. And there's a couple of other things that's left over from earlier in the week that I meant to touch on that we didn't get to or whatever. So that's what we're gonna do. today. You there, Deuce?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, man? How you feel?
Oh, pretty good. Just rolling. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm all right. So you had your couple days off, and now you're back on the grind, huh?
Yeah, back out here on the grind, bro.
Yeah.
Starting it out in the West Texas area.
Okay. West Texas. Ain't nothing in West Texas, right?
Uh, yeah, I mean it's grown a whole lot out this way. But yeah, I mean it's a lot of land, desert land. But there's a lot that has grown out this way. You got to get to the major cities to really see anything. Like Midland, Odessa, shit like that, El Paso, areas like that.
Yeah, but it's huge spanches of area where there's basically nothing. Little small towns.
Small towns, yeah. And then you got Big Bend National Park out this way too. So it's quite a bit to do out this way.
Yeah, that's one thing about Texas, though. I saw a thing where it said Texas is like the only state where people go on vacation in the same state. It's literally so many places like the lakes and lodges and like cabins and like, you know what I mean, bed and breakfasts, all the different rivers and shit. Um, yeah, it's so many places. Even if you lived in Texas, you haven't been to all of them.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of really cool places and
Oh,
not
yeah.
that far away. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Living in
Hey,
danger every
Go ahead. Let me play this.
every hour, every second. Something is going on in this world. Things have got to stop. It's sad because the world we living in is danger every day. Every day, every minute, every hour, every second, something is going on in this world. Things have got to stop. It's sad because the world we living in is danger every day.
It says one of two hostages released by robbery suspect at Jersey Village Hotel. He was, what was he, robbing a hotel? I mean, I don't really want to get into this, but anywho, I think I'm going to get into it. Let's start off with Lenny Bruce. I had no idea about this guy at all. So that's cool whenever, and this show, it's for people to talk and express, hopefully change your perspectives a bit, hopefully change your algorithm, because that's really what I'm trying to do, because regardless of what I say, hopefully your algorithm will start spitting some better stuff for you. I ain't gonna lie, that's what I be trying to do to y'all. So, but but we also want to talk about pop culture sometimes and talk about, because this stuff is important. But also, I just think it's to lighten up a bit, and then I think it's funny, but I think it's important to know who, like, these people influenced other people. Like, if you know how, like, it's his history, so you know what happened before, you understand what's happening now. So even the pop culture stuff is important because that stuff impact society. Like, I was watching Bo from the Fifth Column, and he was talking about Jaws and how much it's been 50 years, and that movie had such a great impact on people. When I say great, understand that I don't mean necessarily good. I just mean a huge impact on people, and people are still killing sharks and shit as a result. Like, that was just one of the things he was saying. So, but that's why I say, like, these kinds of things are important too. So Lenny Bruce, they did a little thing on him. Okay, yeah, this one. And we'll probably watch some of it and then like chop it a bit, talk about it. Because the point of it is, free speech is really about, like, being able to speak against the establishment. And it's funny how like it seems like comedians are the only ones that can tell the damn truth. What a crazy world we live in, where the most truth we get is from comedians. You know, because it's supposed to be funny, so you don't have to take it serious. So therefore, they can go ahead and say it. But the rest of us, if we were to say the same thing in a serious setting, it'd be dangerous repercussions. And so, but this guy, Lenny Bruce, was out there saying stuff that wasn't, you know, politically correct or approved of and shit. You know what I mean? Speaking against the establishment. So being that this was what, back in the 50s, I want to say, they're going to talk about it on here, but he influenced the genre. So you got to know that people like Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor, you know what I mean? Other names were influenced by this guy. And also him doing what he did allowed them to be able to do what they do, if that makes any sense. So like I'm saying though, like that's why I wanted to cover this guy. So let me play some of this. That was my little setup for it.
I'll see you around, Morphling. Ding, ding, ding. You believe what? First up, Armageddon, sweetie.
In the 1960s, Lenny Bruce was decades ahead of his time. A hip comic genius who spouted social criticism to waken America.
Lenny was saying things and challenging his audiences in a way that no other comedian, humorist had ever done before. He was crossing the line.
But Lenny was also a hardcore dope addict
I had to have a fix.
who plunged into madness and died with a needle in his arm.
He had problems with drugs. And of course, he had tremendous problems with the law.
In the next hour, we will trace the rise of America's pioneer of hip, racy stand-up comedy, from his start as a strip show gag man.
His humor was raw, raw humor. He used a lot of, as the police thought, bad words.
We will hear Lenny's friend describe the comic's battles with dope.
He was using heroin. He was using methamphetamine.
We will follow Lenny's transformation from underground comedian to champion of free speech.
It was frank, adult, and intelligent discussions of race, sex, and politics.
We will hear from the cops who knew Lenny as they reveal for the first time details of the comic's secret life as a drug informant.
He didn't have any loyalty to any of those people. He felt they were ripping him off and they were lowlifes.
We will examine Lenny's gruesome death and the rumors it may have been murder.
If it was, it'll be a perfect one because nobody will ever know.
And in an exclusive interview, we will hear Lenny's only child describe her father's lifelong torment.
We were both estranged. We were both abused. We were both loved.
This is the story of a renegade funny man. This is the story of Lenny Bruce, the true Hollywood story.
Lenny was cool, but yet hot.
From life's ambition,
I'm always over here trying to do too much. You ever heard of that guy, Lenny Bruce Deuce? You there? Y'all can hear me? My shit working? Oh, fuck. I don't know. I'm gonna just play some more.
The 1960s was a decade of revolt against racial prejudice and sexual taboos. To West Coast nightclub impresario Gene Norman, the 60s was the decade of Lenny Bruce.
He would attack anything and everybody. And that was the beginning of what we saw as the great protest of the 60s, in my opinion. He was the first one. He was the Pied Piper.
Lenny Bruce, the Pied Piper of protest, was born Leonard Alfred Schneider in the rural suburbs of Long Island, New York, October 13, 1925. Lenny was an only child whose parents were a mismatch. His father, Myron, was a shoe clerk, but Lenny's mother, Sadie, was a dancer and aspiring actress whose stage name was Sally Marr. Comedian and family friend Jackie Gale.
I swear, if you didn't know them, you'd think Sally was Lenny's big sister. If you didn't think it was his mother, you'd think they were, like, because they hung out together. He loved his mother.
Sally Marr had dreams of Broadway glory. When Lenny was 8 years old, Sally divorced her husband and took her son to New York.
Sally took him, and she had a dancing school when she was little. She worked as a housekeeper, too, and when Lenny was with her for some rich people.
Being a single mother cramped Sally's show business plans, and she soon sent Lenny back to his father. Sally's rejection permanently damaged her son, Lenny's daughter, Kitty.
Sally put all of his stuff inside a bag and said, I can't take it anymore. My father comes schlepping down the road like a hobo because Grandma Sally, quote, doesn't want him anymore, out.
From the age of 9, Lenny was raised by his father. Over the years, their relationship became increasingly hostile. Lenny spent hours in front of his radio, lost in dreams.
My father always lived for Andy Hardy, Norman Rockwell, all the neat stuff, you know, family, praying before dinner. Never happened. One day he got real PO'd and he took a rifle and shot a turkey off a table through the neighbor's house because he was angry about Thanksgiving because he couldn't have it.
Playwright and biographer Frank Spicer.
He wound up running away from home when he was 16 and wound up living with this couple out in a farm in Long Island by the name of the Denglers, and to live with them for a couple of years doing odd jobs on the farm and basically being bored to death, which eventually drove him to join the Navy.
Lenny witnessed fierce combat during World War II. Between battles, he devised shipboard comedy routines to entertain fellow sailors. After 3 years at sea, Lenny yearned for civilian life. In 1945, he used one of his comedy routines to escape the Navy. He started dressing as a female sailor, then called a wave.
He bribed one of his fellow sailors who had some ability to be a great sewing artist into creating a wave costume for him. And while everybody was asleep, he would walk the decks of the ship in this wave costume until he finally got busted.
Lenny was dishonorably discharged by the Navy and vowed to develop his comedic skills. He enrolled in a Hollywood acting school, but dropped out after a few months. In 1947, 21-year-old Lenny landed back in New York, hoping to regain his mother's favor.
He started taking odd jobs, but then this opportunity came for him to actually jump on stage and be an MC one night at a club that his mother was working in, and that was the beginning of his comedy career.
Working together in burlesque, Lenny and Sally resumed their old relationship. At Sally's suggestion, Lenny adopted his own stage name in 1947. Leonard Schneider became Lenny Bruce.
Just about that time, he won an Arthur Godfrey talent show, and they went into the Strand Theater. I'll never forget how he came out. He had a white dinner jacket, tuxedo pants, handsome. He was a good-looking guy, and he did that show business skip out.
From 1948 to 1951, Lenny Bruce built his comedy act playing in East Coast strip clubs. In the beginning, Lenny's routines were ordinary.
Lots of impressions, lots of mother-in-law jokes, banana peel jokes, making fun of other people. He was your very typical comic that was working the comedy circuit in those days.
But in 1951, while working a Baltimore burlesque club, 26-year-old Lenny met a red-haired stripper who turned him inside out. 24-year-old Harriet Lloyd billed herself as Hot Honey Harlow.
Oh, she was beautiful. She looked like you'd Rita Hayworth, any of them. The long, flowing red hair. The first time I saw her with Lenny, I said, wow.
Honey was more than beautiful. She was a convicted felon, twice divorced, bisexual, and in love with another woman. Honey set Lenny on fire.
As Lenny was always say, she was a cross between a hooker and the Madonna.
When the E! True Hollywood story continues, Lenny Bruce makes strippers blush.
He would say, like, oh, the F word, for instance. Is that the way we say it nowadays?
And later, Lenny, Honey, Sally, and heroin.
If Sally would have known what was going to happen later on, she would have taken a gun and shot Honey.
Oh shit. You there, Deuce? I don't know, did I lose you? I don't know if y'all can even hear me. My shit working? I don't have nothing to verify.
Childhood began to transform his comedy style.
He wanted to be the center of attention because he never got any attention.
After 4 years of working East Coast burlesque shows, 26-year-old Lenny Bruce became disillusioned. He sensed his career was going nowhere. In 1951, Lenny gave up comedy and signed on with the Merchant Marines. But a week before shipping out, Lenny met Harriet Lloyd, a 24-year-old stripper known as Hot Honey Harlow. Playwright biographer Frank Spicer.
He just becomes so totally flipped out from Honey that that's all he could think about when he was at sea. The first port of call that they got into, he called her and told her that he was mad about her and loved her, and he was coming back home to see her.
Weeks after sailing, Lenny quit the Merchant Marines. He joined Honey in Miami, and the couple began a heated romance. Lenny was also arrested for the first time in Miami for dressing as a priest and pocketing donations. In June of '51, 26-year-old Lenny and 24-year-old Honey returned to Honey's hometown, Detroit, and the two were married in City Hall. In 1952, Lenny and Honey Bruce packed up and headed to California for a fresh start. Lenny wanted to make movies.
There were twofold reasons for Lenny moving out to Los Angeles, but the main reason was the film industry. That was the mecca, that was the capital, and it still is. Also, of course, there was a big nightclub scene going out there as well.
In Los Angeles, Lenny's movie dreams sputtered. 20th Century Fox gave him a tryout as a scriptwriter, but Lenny's work was rejected. By 1953, Lenny and Honey were back on stage working LA burlesque clubs, including a spot called Strip City. One of the stars was Stacey Farrell, billed as Eartha Quake.
Lenny would come out at the beginning of the show, and he would do a little monologue, and he would make the band laugh and get them all relaxed so they'd play good for the strippers.
At Strip City, Lenny's comedy style began to change. Comedian Frankie Ray.
When you're in a joint for a year and you keep going and you look how all the same degenerates are sitting there waiting for the broads, you better come up with something.
What Lenny came up with was language rarely spoken in public. He used street slang to introduce strippers like Betty Rowland, billed as the Ball of Fire.
Well, he would say like, oh, the F word, for instance. Is that the way we say it nowadays? And words of that's what we call ladies bad names and call guys and so forth like that.
Lenny's edgy humor won him a new set of fans, the musicians in the house band.
All musicians loved him. Musicians sometimes, when he would come on or when the MC comes on, they would leave the bandstand. But it'd be a rare occasion that the band would leave the bandstand when he was on.
Lenny's musician pals introduced Lenny to a new way of life, a life steeped in drugs.
He started to delve into the drug scene that was very prevalent among jazz musicians, and eventually started doing liquid amphetamines, which became a big drug of choice of his.
Lenny's daughter, Kitty.
In order to get amphetamines, told the doctor, "Yoy, I have narcolepsy, I fall asleep, so therefore I need ampules of syringe amphetamines."
In 1954, Lenny returned to movie making. He began producing his own films on a shoestring budget. Lenny's first movie, Dream Follies, was a sex farce, starring stripper Stacey Farrell.
His humor was raw, raw humor. His philosophy was that what was bad for people in general was killing people, stabbing people, doing harm to people, not making love.
Lenny's next movie, Dance Hall Racket, starred Lenny and Honey.
I don't want to wind up like that, Lenny.
Look, I'm not going to say nothing now. I got a lot of big plans. What? I'm thinking all the time. And if everything works all right, baby, you'll listen.
And many of Lenny's jazz buddies, comedian Shecky Green.
I think if he would have ever straightened out, which he would have been a very big screenwriter. I don't think he would have continued on as a comic.
But Lenny's movies went nowhere, and he did continue as a comic. By the mid-1950s, Lenny's risque routines were gaining notoriety. Police started visiting Strip City.
He would have meetings with the owners, and they would talk to him, and he would promise them that he would not do that anymore. But then, when the show went on, Lenny did the same thing, and maybe even worse.
When the E! True Hollywood story continues, Lenny and with dreams.
You're lucky I'm interviewing you. Let me see your legs.
But in the 1950s, Lenny changed. He began shooting speed, lacing his comedy with four-letter words.
He didn't care what you thought or whether you liked it or not. He would do it, and he would never stop.
In 1955, 30-year-old Lenny Bruce began the most creative period of his life. Lenny and his wife, Honey, had their only child, born Brandy Kathleen Kitty Bruce. Lenny adored her.
He babied me. He had a chart that said, okay, Kitty will be fed at 2 o'clock. This is what she's going to eat. I slept in a dresser drawer. When he was on stage, when my mother and father would gig.
Lenny left his job as MC at Strip City in 1955 and began trying stand-up comedy. He started working rooms at the bottom of the show business ladder. Playwright biographer Frank Spicer.
As he described them, they were basically toilets and strip joints, some jazz rooms, but Lenny had no qualms about working what he called toilets.
In 1956, Lenny even brought his wife Honey Harlow into his show at an LA joint called Duffy's Gaiety.
They tried to do an act together where he tried to develop her as a singer. And she started doing all right, but it never really took off.
Lenny and Honey also became deeply involved in the after-hours jazz scene of the mid-1950s. The couple's circle of friends included trumpeter Jack Sheldon.
Always at the party, somebody would OD. I remember one time Honey OD'd, and we just put her in the bathtub and turned cold water on her.
Working at Duffy's, Lenny and Honey graduated from injecting speed to injecting heroin while raising a child.
I never saw my father shoot drugs in my life. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. He spent a lot of time in the library. He spent a lot of time in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Daddy, 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 come out, come out, come out. Mommy, 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 come out, come out, come out.
Damn. Comedian Jackie Gale.
He was getting high. He'd stop periodically, but he'd go back to it. Yeah, he was addicted to drugs.
At Duffy's Gaiety Club, Lenny used his drug experiences to create his sharpest satire about politics, race, and the ills of 1950s society.
Lenny would get high with these wonderful hip musicians, and at the same time, these cats had to go to a different bathroom in Alabama to take a pee. Why was this going on?
At home, Lenny and Honey dabbled in riskier business, sex orgies.
One night we were in the house at Las Palmas, and everybody had left, and it was just me and Honey and Lenny left. And Lenny says, "Now, why don't you fuck Honey?" And I said, "Well, if I have to." But, you know, it was his idea, and so we went in bed, and we're making love, and he kept crawling in the room, and she'd say, "Lenny, get out of the room."
In 1956, the 5-year marriage of Lenny and Honey fell apart. The couple flew to Honolulu to try a reconciliation, but within a month, Honey was arrested in Honolulu for marijuana possession. As a convicted felon, she was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Their divorce became final in 1958, and Lenny won custody of daughter Kitty, comic Shecky Green.
Kitty, I think, was 6 months old, maybe a year. Then he came to me and he says to me after the trial, I didn't go down to court with him, will I please adopt Kitty? And knowing his background and Honey's background, I said, no.
Instead, Kitty went to live with her grandmother, Sally Marr. In late 1957, Lenny's career picked up steam. He moved his act to a swank new Hollywood club, the Crescendo. Owner Gene Norman.
Gradually, he started to improvise and he became more socially oriented. He started to do social commentary, and you could see the genesis of what he became famous for.
In 1958, Lenny debuted in San Francisco. It was here that Lenny achieved national acclaim with his daring social satire. Playboy publisher Hugh Hefner.
We saw him one night there and were blown away by him. And we did a major profile on him in that time frame, and that was the beginning, really, of his national fame.
So Hugh Hefner did
when
it.
The E! True Hollywood Story returns. Lenny's first dope bust.
Oh, that's the end of it anyways.
Scar tissue, scabs, puncture wounds, fresh puncture wounds.
And later, Honey's return.
He's got Honey in the bed. I guess she was nude too. Maybe they had 6 other people, you know.
Anyways. You there, Deuce?
Yeah, I'm here, bro.
Had you ever heard of Lenny Bruce before?
Nah, hell no.
Yeah, there's more to this story. Let me read some comments. This is comments underneath the Lenny Bruce TV documentary part 1. Posted by somebody. It's not the people. It says Lenny Bruce documentary. Yay. What is it? Pay year? I don't know what that is. Excuse me. The comment says, first comment. Thank you so much for this. I absolutely love Lenny Bruce. I love you, Kitty. Thank you, Lenny and Honey, for leaving a legacy of love for the misfortunate and homeless of Hawaii. Mahola nui loa. Let me try to say that again. Mahalo nui loa. The main reason Lenny paid another sailor on board their ship to sew him up a wave uniform was because while on shore, leave one weekend, Lenny met either Honey or another stripper and was smitten and absolutely had to get out of the Navy and back to LA and grab the girl before someone else got her. It's that simple, right? So once Lenny gets his wave uniform, he begins prowling the deck of the shop. He must have said ship after dark, after the rest of the men were turning in for the night. Well, it wasn't long before a sailor or two assigned to walk the deck, kind of like security watch, came upon Lenny, all dolled up in his wave outfit and grinning from ear to ear, cooing, "Hello, sailor boy, looking for some action?" That did the trick. Lenny was hauled up in front of a naval tribunal and, of course, court-martialed and given a dishonorable discharge, which was fine with Lenny because he wanted to stand up comedian as working 9 to 5 was for squares, man. So he immediately beats a path back to the strip joint where his beloved was still working and unattached, and the rest is history. It says Google Chet Baker, the jazz trumpeter, and find out how he weaseled his way out of the U.S. Army on psycho discharge. It says hilarious. And that's why I like to read the comments. It be people knowing stuff. It says Jackie Gale, March 1st, 1926, November 23rd, 2002, born Jackie Potavoski, was an American stand-up comedian and actor. He performed as comedian for 40 years, appearing in nightclubs in Las Vegas, including working as an opening act for such performers as Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett. Why? Why make that comment? It says, isn't it a pity how this world and the judgment people in it can destroy a talented, innovative person's life? Yeah, I wonder how much did the industry, like the whole thing kind of just, it chews up creative people, I think. It says on the 3rd of August, 1966, the police arrived at Lenny's house, and for over 5 hours, they allowed reporters and camera crews to feed on his corpse. The Trials of Lenny Bruce, page 339. Yeah, I heard about that too. Like they got photos and shit of when he died. Like that's another thing they do. Like I say, they eat you up. They even eat up your death. That's one thing that sucks to be a celebrity. You know, they just they don't really care, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you, bro. That's crazy. You would think they would allow that to be a private time amongst your family, your loved ones. But I guess they say all of these people loved you, so they want to know the details of your death. They want us to follow you, follow this.
Let me read another comment. This is interesting. It says, "Hi, Kitty. How has your life been? I am sincerely interested. Your dad was sort of before my time, but I am very aware of his influence on George Carlin, for instance, and I do think once Carlin started using with honesty as to where he got the ideas from, his act became superb, and there's no comparison to be made with mainstream unfunny IMO guys like Jackie Vernon. Carlin's hippy dippy weatherman appealed to me and my mother. She got upset when he did Serious Hit, but I really got into him when he started doing what your dad did so well, playing with semantics, semiotics, and pointing out how hypocritical most of us are and the damn system that crushed him. Namaste from a fan in Ontario, Canada, who his fantasy dinner party would invite Lenny in a minute. All the best, and I hope the marvelous Miss Maisel makes people aware of your father. Really aware, because most of us are asleep in the Buddhist sense. Enter the opiates. All I know about the scene to Z. Hmm. That was a weird comment, but very interesting. It says if Lenny was around today, he'd never make it. Between Me Too movement and being very political and correct, they'd be after him constantly. I think so too, but I don't know. Um, um, who did I mention earlier? Dave Chappelle seems to get away with it. People love him. Um, it says that right there. I have the picture tattooed on my right forearm. If I could share photos on YouTube, I'd prove it. Saint Lenny died for our sins. Hmm. So in 1907 was the timestamp he put on there. Everyone touts the lawmakers for our civilized world, but it's the ones that said "fuck it" who are really to thank. Ooh, that's heavy. That's what I was saying. I was just talking to somebody recently about like everyone always says, you know, there's nothing you could do about it. Like it's bigger than you. Like it's the ads, the stuff they're playing on TV, and all of this. Like there's nothing you can do about it. Just find ways to deal with it. And you're crazy to even be irritated about it or think that you could do anything about it. But I would agree that it is crazy to think that way. But the only person that could change the world is a crazy one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you know more stuff than other people, then you're probably going to be considered crazy already off top because everybody don't know nothing. I mean, that was a horrible sentence, but I apologize for that. Hopefully, y'all saw it as poetry. But what I was saying is like somebody got to give a fuck. Somebody got to be crazy enough to think that they can make a change. Now, whether it happens while they're alive or happens at all or happens after their death, you know what I'm saying? Just them having that thought, feeling, emotion that, to be like, I got to do something, and hopefully it'll make a change. You know what I mean? That's what it is right there. When people are like, there's nothing you can do about it, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Just keep your head down and fucking, just look out for your friends and family and that's it. Then that's how the world gets to continue the way it is. You know what I mean? All fucked up. When people say fuck it and they're like, I'm willing to try to make a change, that's when change happens. That's the only time it happens.
Yeah, my bad. My phone keep. I'm over here close to the Mexican border. My phone keeps trying to connect over there, and it's kicking me out because it's wanting me to confirm uh, those message and data plans for Mexico.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. I mean, if people understood about those, the way the satellites work and stuff, because like when you're driving and you switching from satellites, it does that too.
Uh, Actually,
Yeah.
I have yeah, Mexico is included with Verizon, but I don't know what it's doing, bro. It just keeps doing that, keeps kicking me out.
Crazy group of
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Switching satellites, moving from the distance. You know what I'm saying? You in between the distance between those two satellites for the best or whatever. You know what I mean? They cover different areas. So you are when you're on the edge of one area going into another one, then that's when you have those kind of problems. Yeah, that only happens. Regular people don't know anything about that because that only happens when you're moving. You'll never have that problem, you know, at your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be weird if it happened at your house. That would be weird. You need
Yeah.
another provider. So, next topic is Richard Pryor and the rumors of Richard Pryor having sex with Marlon Brando. Had you ever heard that before?
Who the hell is like? I know
That's the
Richard
dude who
Pryor.
did Godfather, the actor.
Oh shit! I never heard that before.
I hadn't heard it either, and that's the reason why I'm covering it. That's the same reason why I covered the last segment, Lenny Bruce. I hadn't heard this before. I didn't know, but it's apparently it's true because I typed it in and a whole bunch of freaking videos popped up. I want to play some of Joe Rogan. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble for this.
humans that came over.
I always want you to do the impersonation from you when Italian people in Jersey found out that Marlon Brando was gay. I can't fucking believe it. 20 years he was the Godfather. And no. He couldn't blow a regular dude. No, God forbid. He blows a black dude to really stab me right here in the fucking heart. I couldn't even take it no more. I had to throw the DVD collection away. And fucking, I would love to hear from one of those guys what they said when they found out that week.
Didn't they say that he fucked everybody, men and women?
Oh, yeah, he banged everybody.
He fucked everybody.
Yeah, and then it came out he was banging the guy with the big dick in Cuba.
That's right.
The Superman. He
Superman.
sucked his dick
That's
too.
right. That's right.
So fucking poor Italian people, if they were Godfather fans, they were lighting those fucking DVDs on fire. Fuck Marlon Brando.
Poor homophobes. I like him more now. I like Marlon Brando
I
more
love
now that I
Marlon
found out
Brando.
that he-
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't listen. Marlon
But
Brando,
to
dog.
me, Richard Pryor, thinking about Richard Pryor getting so coked up that he let Marlon Brando fuck him was one of the things I was like, unless he that's prejudice of me. I should just assume he enjoyed it and assume he enjoyed having sex with Marlon Brando. Why should I give a shit, right?
Listen to me.
For real,
Just
right?
remember one thing. Because you're going to die when I tell you this.
Uh-oh.
Marlon Brando told the studio and to give him like $100,000 to read Superman. But you know when people call you up, Joe, hi Joe, this is Cynthia from your agents.
Right.
We're sending you a script over for you to approve to read. Give me $100,000.
Give me $100,000 and I'll read it, he said.
When he went to the island, he went deep. He believed his ego. You got to remember, that was an all-time record for a long time, what he got for Superman. He banged them out. He took him to the cleanest type
They needed
shit.
him.
He fucked them up in the ass bad, like big money.
needed
Find
him.
out what they paid him in 1970, whatever. For Superman, remember, he fucked them big time. I think it's Mutiny on the Bounty. On one of those movies, they kept saying that, oh, we have a beautiful spot for you right here in Marina Del Rey. If we do this, we got to do this on this island, they found. He had gone down there and fell in love. He's like, there's a bunch of running around. There's a bunch of women running around with leaves on. You know what, Diamond, I could do that.
He made the studio shoot down there, and then they never went down there. Who wants to go to fucking whatever island they shot that at?
So that's where he lived, right?
So he went down there, he got down there, he's like, Jamie, what's your job? PA, no more, you're the director. Rogan, you're this. And everybody was shooting, and they were shooting his feet. They were shooting like him running, and like the shore. And meanwhile, he's just banging fucking Hawaiian women 8 at a time, like just having orgies, banging kids. All those kids that shot themselves, all those kids he had, remember all those?
Oh my God.
All those poor kids that fucking, God rest their souls, all those problems he had. He was down there like fucking just matadoring. Whoever Paramount, whoever the network was, showed up down there and said, let's see the dailies. I said, what the fuck is this? You're done. They brought somebody else in. Marlon ended up saying, fuck it, I'll buy the island. He bought the island, didn't he? Like, this is just crazy shit I heard over the years. And they just lived on the island. And then if they wanted him, they had to call the island. And he had like levels. Oh, you want me to read the script? That's going to cost you 80. Oh, you want me to come to the studio? That's 300,000. Like, he had levels of fucking, and they would give it to him. They would, and then they didn't want him for The Godfather. They were like, nah, there's no way we want that fucking guy.
Wow.
And then finally he put the tape in his mouth and all that shit, and they approved him. And he did bro, that movie's like a porn. The one he did, that Last Tango in Paris.
Is it?
That's like a light porn. And then the chick came out years later and said, that motherfucker Stone Cold raped me. He was the king of Me Too. He invented Me Too, that motherfucker, dog.
Wow.
Yeah, she came out years later and said something about she didn't know what was. Marlon Brando went in there and choked her out like McQueen and fucking in The Getaway. She thought she was just getting pushed.
Yeah, the McQueen, and who was it with? What was
Ally
the girl?
McGraw.
Ally McGraw. That was hard to watch because you could tell that was real. There's no way that wasn't real. Like, he was really hitting her. That
Yeah,
would hurt.
no. He was a method actor. He didn't give
Dude,
a fuck.
that is harsh.
He's crazy. He was
that,
crazy.
That scene was so real because of it. I mean, it's awful to watch, but it's real, right? I mean, it's an awful scene.
It's real.
Fuck, man. Imagine being her, and all of a sudden the dude just starts smacking you in the head for real. And you don't know what to do, and you don't want to bail out of the scene. You're getting fucked up, though. He's fucking you up.
And
wow.
she didn't stop. She just kept saying the lines and working with it.
Fuck, dude. Jesus Christ.
What do you say to somebody after that? Like, hey, man, I'm sorry, but that's what the scene called for.
You can't see. I don't know. It sounds fucked up to say, but I think even just that recent a time, people did not understand that if you're smacking people in the head like that, you're giving them fucking brain damage. Like, you smack someone in the head like that, like, you could seriously fuck them up. Like, something could be wrong with them for a long time, even if they don't go unconscious.
Yeah, that's why I don't like to watch fucking UFC and all that shit. Fucking, they knock the guy down and get on top of him and keep on hitting him. I'm like, damn, can somebody stop this? Like, can this dude stop hitting this dude? Like, the fight's over. But that's the world we live in. People love that shit. Damn, music in the background. I'm going to read some comments. It says, Italian people in Jersey will be more upset to know Marlon's not Italian. In his prime, Marlon Brando was probably the most attractive man I've ever seen. Who posted that? This person says Lindy Cox. Marlon Brando was a legend, one of the best actors ever. Another one, it says, man, everybody's gay once in a while. It's Hollywood. It says, just goes to show how amazing of an actor he is. He could literally be anybody. There's no way a Hollywood actor could possibly be gay. He himself admitted he had affairs with both sexes. This is the first time I've seen Joey so passionate, and I can actually understand him talking. Just when I thought I couldn't love Marlon Brando anymore, he pulls me back in. I'm gonna get in trouble for that fucking music. I gotta play something. I wanted to read more comments, but I'm gonna move on to the Richard Pryor. I think I got a Richard Pryor. It's TMZ. Can I play TMZ? I don't think I ever tried to play TMZ before.
Actually got Richard Pryor and Marlon Brando. This story
That's my favorite.
That we put up on the website yesterday has been huge. It's still huge.
Oh my God. I was shocked because I swear to God, I thought when we put this up, I thought, is anybody going to care about Marlon Brando because he saw, it was 1950s.
People
and I know he did
like-
Godfather and all, but
people
still.
care like crazy. Look, this all started where a lot of things have started in the last couple of days with Quincy Jones when he did that interview with Vulture, and he said, yeah, Richard Pryor, Marlon Brando would sleep with anybody. He slept with Richard Pryor. He slept with James Baldwin. He claims he also slept with Marvin Gaye.
And by the way, the individual people I didn't know about, but there have been tons written about Marlon Brando. So none of that.
So Quincy said all that. Yeah, so Quincy said all that, and we're like, is that actually what happened? We actually got in touch with Richard Pryor's widow, Jennifer Pryor, and she, she actually kind of laughed. I think Brad spoke to her, and she said, yeah, hell yeah, he did. Yeah.
She confirmed everything and then more, Charles, and it was kind of surprising how open she was. But she said Richard had no shame in this either, and he was actually very open about his bisexuality with friends. He had diaries that he wrote about it too.
I hadn't heard that, by the way.
Yeah, and she
I hadn't heard that.
Or you weren't one of his friends.
She also kind of said that, you know what, it was the 70s. That's when the drugs were still good. A lot of Quaaludes were going around at these parties, and these guys were artists, so they were more than willing to experiment with different things. But yeah, she said he was very open about it. He didn't hide it. And she said he'd be laughing if he heard the report came out today.
The only thing kind of bothers me about that is she's almost saying, oh, the drugs made him do it.
Well, maybe that's what he said.
Well, no, but he, there's been so much written about, Marlon Brando, and I think he was bisexual. There's been his life has been chronicled like crazy.
Yeah,
but that is really interesting.
It's very interesting,
and that his widow knew. So obviously, Marlon talked to the widow.
They were together for a long time too. Jennifer and Richard had been married twice, so I think that they had kind of had it all out there between the two of them. They kind of knew each other like the back of each other's hands. So she seemed to know this. She wasn't surprised at all. It's funny. I reached out to the estate to try and get someone official, and then Jennifer's the one who wanted to chat, and she was very open about it. It was great.
So this has been a huge buzz here in Hollywood. A lot of people talking about it, and a lot of people didn't know this about Richard Pryor. Like you said, I think people did know it about Brando. But Richard, they didn't. So we got Marlon Wayans out.
Not Marlon Brando.
Not Marlon Brando. Didn't get him. Maybe tomorrow. But we got Marlon Wayans, and he has an idea. This is Marlon's theory, at least, on how it all went down when Marlon Brando and Richard Pryor hooked up.
I want to know if you saw the latest news that basically Richard Pryor was hooking up with Marlon Brando. It's crazy.
Richard?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
It's kind of incredible.
That's a handsome guy.
He was,
Rich
right?
got good taste.
They said it was like in the 70s when it was like drugs and Quaaludes and people having.
Yeah, he probably ain't know what happened. He was just like, oh, this is a pretty bitch. Oh, it's too late. He was in him. He was like, Marlon Brando, I love your movies. Thank God I'm in you.
Well, that's the society we live in. I just didn't know that. That's funny. I just didn't know. Let me read some more comments underneath this one. It says, I don't think it's appropriate to talk about people who aren't around to confirm or deny the rumors. Well, that's somebody that's taking the blue pill right there. Another comment, it says, Richard Pryor used to say things like this in his comedy. People didn't believe it because it came off funny during stand-up. I love both Richard Pryor and Marlon Brando. I can't believe the disrespect to these wonderful actors. Let them rest in peace. Another blue pillar. Maybe Brando made Pryor an offer he couldn't refuse. Oh my God. Offer he can't refuse. Why you gotta make this face? Italians are best. Forget about it. You know what I mean? Forget about it. Italians the best, you know. Big meat bowl, you know. It's a big bowl of meat. Man, I love those movies, man. Whatever. I don't care, bro. You enjoy the art for the art. Whatever the hell you feel about that other shit is whatever the hell. I feel like you're supposed to separate the person from the art anyways. The art is the art. The art is the art. Appreciate the art for what the art is. That's it. You know, whatever he was doing, I don't approve of all that stuff. You know, but that's not for me to judge this man on whatever the hell he was doing. You know, and I, you know, like I say, I would separate that from the art. I could totally enjoy the art for what it is. I don't have to attach that, you know, his personal life to it. Another comment, it says, it's sad how people can love you your whole career and then turn on you over a rumor. This is the era of gossip. Media and fans have become vultures. I watched that Richard Pryor roast yesterday, and I never heard him talk like that. And that confirms it for me. Too bad, but entertainers been selling their soul since the beginning. I don't know if that's selling your soul, bro. People have a hard time believing Richard was bisexual. He said it in his own biography. And I'm gonna play that clip because this comment, I'm gonna go back to this comment. It says, I watched that Richard Pryor roast yesterday, and I never heard him talk like that, and that confirms it for me. Too bad, but entertainers be selling their soul since the beginning. I saw the clip. I have a clip from that roast that they're talking about. I might as well go ahead and go to it. That's how it goes with this show. Whenever somebody mentions something that I already was going to talk about, I just go to it.
What you're about to see is a clip from the roast of Richard Pryor back in 1977. This clip was actually brought to my attention by my brother, and I wanted to post it so everyone could see as proof that truth always comes to the surface. For those of you who are still in doubt of the so-called Illuminati or whatever they want to call themselves, they're not really illuminated anymore because the true children of the Most High have the light. But you've ever been in any doubt of how they get down in Hollywood and the type of environment and sexual practices and things that they do and the rituals that take place, this further proves it. So check it out.
Next to her is what we call Miss Thing. We call him that with love and affection, as all of us know. Well, he hasn't let us down yet, has he?
Oh, that's what's his name sitting there. That's I didn't notice that before.
A long time, and,
Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney. That's Paul Mooney.
I sure wish you'd return my red handkerchief because my wife been wondering where it was. I hope it still has her perfume scent on it. But really, Paul, it's really been a pleasure working with you because we worked together many years ago on the Red Fox show. We started writing together, and we walked into the office with the white man, and Paul didn't. What he did was sucked his dick. But I must say, Paul had a sense of humor. He didn't let him come in his mouth. But seriously. Paul wrote most of the dialogue for everybody up here tonight. And he's a brilliant guy. We went once to what was that man's name that we went to and we had to fight? The producer. Producer, the Bill. Sheldon Leonard. Sheldon Leonard. We walked in his office. We was there for an hour together. And Sheldon Leonard picked our brains and he said, thank you, and you can leave now. And I asked for the money. and Paul said, don't do that. Don't get us in no trouble now. I threatened to kick his ass, and Paul tried to join him. But we're dear friends, and this is all in fun. Next, just don't tell them about neuropathy. Next, I moved. Paul was with me once when I first fucked my first faggot. And he's been holding that over my head for 2 years. I fucked a faggot. I just want to say it now so nobody else can tell. I liked it. I would have married him, but he had to go away and get an operation. I'd like to move now, Paul, if you don't mind. to move to the other end to a white person who I give less than a shit about.
Oh shit, I done did some shit. Let me close this. Yeah, I just didn't know that stuff. That's all. And I thought I'd share it because I wasn't aware. I had heard some stuff, but I didn't know about the Marlon Brando and all that. Just found it interesting. You know, I figured other people would find it interesting. I don't know about, I just played that clip because that was the clip that popped up, like, and it had the clip in it. So I don't know about what they were saying about Illuminati and all that shit. 'Cause, anybody that watched the show knows where I'm at on that. I have some more shit. Where the hell is everybody? And I got this music playing. It's gonna get me in trouble. Oh. My bad, y'all. Hold on.
After 75 years in prison in the United States if convicted of violating the Espionage Act for publishing classified documents exposing U.S. war crimes in Iraq and Afghanistan. WikiLeaks said today Assange would appeal today's ruling. His attorney, Jen Robinson, condemned the UK for extraditing Assange to a country which once considered assassinating him. In a statement, WikiLeaks said, quote, "It was in Priti Patel's power to do the right thing. Instead, she will forever be remembered as an accomplice of the United States and its agenda to turn investigative journalism into a criminal enterprise." Jamil Jaffer of the Knight First Amendment Institute at Columbia University tweeted, "The Assange indictment is a dagger at the throat of press freedom. The Biden administration should drop the prosecution as press freedom groups have repeatedly asked it to do," unquote. We'll speak with Julian Assange's brother after headlines. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th insurrection has revealed Donald Trump knew his plan to overturn the 2020 election was illegal, but pushed his Vice President Mike Pence to take part anyway in what the committee has described as an attempted coup. But Pence refused to take part after Trump asked him to unilaterally reject the Electoral College results on January 6. The committee also revealed the architect of Trump's plan, the attorney John Eastman, also knew the plan was illegal but pushed it anyway. Eastman later sought a pardon for himself. Witnesses testifying on Thursday included Michael Luttig, a retired judge and one of the most influential right-wing legal experts in the country. He described Trump as a clear and present danger to American democracy. Judge Luttig warned that Trump and allies will also attempt to overturn the 2024 election if they lose, and this time they may succeed. We'll have more on the House hearing later in the broadcast. The Senate Armed Services Committee has endorsed an $847 billion military budget. That's $45 billion more than requested by President Biden. Democratic Senator Jack Reed, the chair of the committee, said some of the extra money is needed to replenish weapons sent to Ukraine. There is, however, a push in Congress by some progressives to shrink the Pentagon's budget. Earlier this week, Democratic Representatives Barbara Lee and Mark Pocan introduced the People Over Pentagon Act of 2022, which calls for cutting $100 billion from the military budget. In a statement, Congressmember Lee said, quote, "The amount of money the defense industry convinces Congress to spend each year doesn't protect us from real threats like climate change, pandemics, or cyber attacks. It only lines contractors' pockets. Just imagine for once if we led the world in funding peace and not wars," Lee said. Ukraine has moved a step closer to joining the European Union. Earlier today, the European Commission recommended Ukraine, as well as Moldova, be granted candidate status for EU membership. This comes a day after the presidents of France, Germany, Italy, and Romania traveled to Ukraine to meet with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Earlier today, French President Emmanuel Macron said he would consider traveling to Moscow to negotiate with Russia's President Vladimir Putin if certain conditions were met. Macron last met with Putin 2 weeks before the invasion. The World Trade Organization's agreed to temporarily waive some intellectual property rights on COVID vaccines, but no agreement was reached on lifting patent monopolies on COVID treatments and tests. Hundreds of international groups, including Oxfam and Amnesty International, criticized the final deal, saying it'll make it harder for developing countries to respond to the pandemic. This is Nick Dearden, Director of Global Justice Now.
What we've got from the World Trade Organization this morning is a poor excuse for a waiver. It is not what we've been calling for the last 18 months. And the fault for that lies with European governments, particularly Britain, Switzerland, and Germany. So we're not happy about that. But there's one thing we can bank from this. It really is proof that the big pharma monopoly system did not help deal with the COVID-19 pandemic and did not help deal with it equitably. Most importantly, it drove vaccine inequality.
At least 2,000 cows have died in recent days in Kansas due to excessive heat and humidity. Much of the United States has been facing a brutal heat wave this week, as more than 1,800 temperature records have been shattered from California to Michigan. More than 100 million people have been advised to stay indoors due to the excessive heat. Europe and much of South Asia are also facing record heat waves this week. UCLA climate scientist Daniel Swain said more extreme heat events will keep occurring if global emissions are not slashed.
Obviously, in the long run, the only solution is to bring carbon emissions to close to zero and eventually halt global warming and thereby halt the increase.
Punch him. Somebody smack him.
President Biden has approved a major disaster declaration for Montana after massive floods forced the closing of Yellowstone National Park. Heavy rainstorms and melting snowcaps led the Yellowstone River to swell by more than 2 feet over its previous high. The raging waters swept away homes, bridges, and roads. New research shows temperatures in parts of the Arctic are warming at a rate 7 times faster than the global average. This, according to the journal Scientific Reports, parts of the Arctic are nearly 5 degrees warmer than a decade ago. The warming is expected to lead to more extreme weather in North America, Europe, and Asia. In other climate news, a group of environmental organizations have sued the Biden administration over the issuing of more than 3,500 permits to drill for oil and gas on public lands in New Mexico and Wyoming. The lawsuit says the drilling could result in 600 million metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions. Jeremy Nichols of the group Wild Earth Guardian said, quote, the Biden administration's literally drilling away the climate. The nation's largest baby formula manufacturer, Abbott Nutrition, has been forced to pause operations at its plant in Sturgis, Michigan, due to massive flooding and after heavy rains overwhelmed the city's drainage system. The plant is expected to stay closed for a few weeks. The plant had just recently reopened after being ordered closed in February due to contamination. The plant's closure led to a nationwide shortage of baby formula, which still exists.
How can one plant's closure cause a nationwide shortage?
Forces have shot dead 3 Palestinians and injured 10 others during a raid in the city of Jenin in the occupied West Bank. Al Jazeera reports 30 Israeli military vehicles took part in the operation. Last month, Al Jazeera reporter Shireen Abu Akleh was shot dead while covering another Israeli raid in Jenin. Earlier this week, the Washington Post became the latest news outlet to conclude she was shot by Israeli forces despite Israel's initial denial. Meanwhile, an Israeli politician has sparked outcry after publicly saying he wishes there was a way to get rid of all Palestinians. Israel's deputy religious affairs minister, Matan Kahana, said in a televised speech, quote, if there was a button I could press that would take all the Arabs and put them on a train to Switzerland, I would. And in news from Egypt, the imprisoned Egyptian activist Alaa Abdel Fattah is approaching his 11th week on hunger strike to protest the harsh conditions he's held under at Cairo's Tora prison. Earlier this week, one of Alaa's sisters, Sana Saif, described her brother's dire situation.
My brother is slowly dying in his prison cell, but he wants to live. He misses life, he misses his job, he misses his son and us. On Sunday, my sister visited him in prison, Mona. When she saw him, she was shocked. She hasn't been able to eat since. The effect was such that she decided to start a hunger strike herself in solidarity. She told me, I have to use my body as a portal to show people what's happening to Ale.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm
Amy Goodman. It's Norman Sheik or Juan Gonzalez. Let's see, which one did she introduce?
Amy Goodman.
Oh, she didn't. They stopped it at that segment. I watched that shit a lot. I'm fucking tired, and the show is not working out the way I freaking wanted it. Like, man, background music and shit. Can't hear it that much right now, but I'll fuck around and get flagged behind that. Let me read some comments. It says, I want to hear more of what Michael Pudding has to say about the 2024 election and the GOP's plan. Another comment, as an American, to the people of the UK, do whatever you can to prevent Julian Assange to the brutal and inhuman U.S. prison and corrupt justice system. Another comment, imagine for getting punished for life just for showing someone committing atrocious acts. Let me read that again. I chopped that up. Imagine for getting punished for life just for showing someone committing atrocious acts. Oh, the census is just terrible. That's why. But they were talking about Julian Assange, but they're making a good point. He it's the whistleblower. That's what's crazy, you guys. And y'all jump right on that shit, and they just be like, "Oh, the whistleblower." What the fuck about what the fuck he blew the whistle about? Like, the whistleblower is the bad guy. Send him to prison forever. Kill him. You ran by criminals if the person who all he did was reveal some information that the American people would love to have heard about. And it wasn't it wasn't done illegally. This was all journalistic work, what journalists do every day. And that's the scariest part of the persecution of Julian Assange, because it's really the persecution of journalism. That's the reason why we don't have any real true journalism in this country. It's just talking head media, because it's corporatized and it's all about money. Let me read some more comments. It says, I'm outraged at pretty Patel's inhuman, cruel decision. I wish we could place faith in our own judicial system, but after seeing how Stephen Dosinger was legally mistreated, there's a significant chance that the presiding judge will be corrupt. Another comment, if he exposes U.S. war crimes, that makes him a good guy. Another comment, it says, the Black Lives Matter movement seemed to be a global awakening to the self-harm caused by prejudice, but the racist and fascist backlash worldwide, including in India, is really disheartening. Ooh. And what's going on in India is terrible. How they're treating the Muslims and minority communities there, and we're not getting much coverage of that. I might do some coverage of that next week. It says incredible, poor Julian. Funding peace, what a concept. But that would mean defunding neoliberalism. So it isn't likely to happen since corporations have captured almost every element of government in the US. Another comment, I am so disgusted that they view Assange and Snowden as terrorists by sharing information with the people of the nefarious deeds of the ones in power. Assange did his job as an investigator, and Snowden is a true patriot. I'm reading comments, people. These are not my words. Sometimes I do agree with them, but this is me reading comments. Seriously, Seriously, did someone expect a different decision from Priti Patel? It's so sad the path that the inhabitants of this world has chosen. Little love, truth, peace, freedom, or justice. No indication of will or action. Although nature has warned all, mankind chooses to stick its head in the sand, so be it. Ooh. Am from Jamaica, GM, and I love your news. 9:32 minutes, and it is succession of just insanities, cruelties, lies, and machinations. We are a dire straits, aren't we? Many still wondering why they feel so ill at ease, and somehow regarding that as some sort of personal shortcoming. I did not understand none of that. Ben Crater. I wish I hadn't tried to read it. Thanks for wasting everybody's time. Let me read this one. 2022, England had failed to humanity forever. Julian Assange, all my love and respects for you and your loved ones. They should drop persecution if he or she was telling the truth. The people needs to know what's going on. It should be a war crime to let a war crime have a classified designation. The very fact that this happened allows military corporations to rule the world. No member of the electorate ever voted for that. Interesting, Amy said that Macron spoke about traveling to Moscow to negotiate with Putin, but that he had last met Putin 2 weeks before the invasion. Putin told Macron that Russia was not going to invade. Dun, dun, dun. That jumped out to me too when I was watching the video. I ain't gonna lie, the Macron thing and the earlier visit. Wonder what did they talk about? I mean, we could speculate, but wonder. Dun dun dun. And I did the shows about how I don't understand how powerful France is. Did France give the go ahead for Russia to do what they're doing? Like, it's a lot going on, y'all. And it's like I said, France is way more powerful than y'all think. They still have territories all over the world, colonies. Let me read more. It says, do the Israelis really want to talk about loading people on trains? They have forgotten already. Be careful of loading people on trains. The next stop might be your own. Ooh, and that's what I be talking about all the time, because people need to sympathize with especially when they choose a certain group and want to persecute them. It doesn't matter what the group is, because they could be coming for you next. You don't know. You think that you're not a part of whatever group that they're going to persecute, but you could be. If you allow them to persecute any of the groups, any group, then you could be next. You better keep that in mind, whoever you are. Let me read some more. It says, On the eve of the military operations in Ukraine, Putin gave a speech. In that speech, he called the U.S. the empire of lies. He was referring to U.S. politicians, not the American people. I think that's another thing about this is people say Russia and the Kremlin, and then you make a connection between that and the people of Russia. You think that everybody in Russia agrees with the things that Putin does? So come on. What about the other countries outside of the United States who like you Americans are dumbasses and y'all just go around the world destroying shit? And you're like, wait, that's not how most people are over here. But whatever, that's the politics, right? So, but that's what we need to see through and try not to get caught up in calling, looking at the details so we can see it better, because we get lost in that and like people want to be like talking bad about Putin, but then they're talking bad about all Russians at the same time. Anyways, love or hate Putin, you can't tie him to all of the Russian people. Same thing with Biden, who's the president right now of the United States. Love or hate Biden, you cannot tie him to all of the American people. That's absurd. So why do we do it to other countries? Why do we get lost in that politics? Why do we get lost in this Cold War McCarthyism? Like that shit should have been dead a long ass time ago. It's reviving now. Like how? What the fuck? Wasn't this debunked? Let me read some more. It says, shame on England and shame on the USA. Another comment. I think we knew from the beginning what Assange's fate would be for exposing the crimes of state. Meanwhile, Donnie gets away with treason. And it's crazy because it's the Democratic machine, because those are the ones he talked about. And y'all want to talk y'all shit. And I be saying the Democratic machine, that's the one that has the power. A lot of the power and the money is on that side, man. They pissed off the Clinton machine specifically with that shit. And they're going to railroad his ass because they're all a part of that team. They're all a part of the team. You don't do it. They stick together. See, that's the problem. That's where their power is. They stick together. You can't fuck with one of them. Oh, you trying to, that's my girl right there. That's my man's. That's my boy. That's my guy. You trying to dog out my guy? I don't care what he did wrong. Fuck you. And you going to prison forever. So we need to do the same thing. We got to stick together. There's more of us than them. They know it. They're shaking in their boots right now. That's why they're suppressing everything online, suppressing my little old booty show. Let me read some more. It says, the public is sleeping opinion, immature in the age, was accepted as common knowledge 70 years ago in the U.S. This led to the civil rights and anti-war movements of the mid-50s and 60s. The people are fully aware. Society is several decades in the age of information, a wealth of knowledge at their fingerprints in a moment. Look around. Society has been transformed by numerous discoveries, innovations, and inventions. There has been an unprecedented growth in independent journalism and media outlets. Solidarity comes by way of reflection and accountability. Passiveness only serves to placate oneself. I love this freaking comment right here. Defiance for humanity. Yeah, so basically everything ain't drool, dread, and dark and death, and we have to try to look at the whole picture of things too, and sometimes growth is kind of ugly and messy anyways. Maybe we're just going through a messy growth phase. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, that's a positive way to kind of look at it. I think this comment helps me to try to think that way right now. So it says the people are fully aware. Society is several decades into the age of information, a wealth of knowledge at their fingerprints in a moment. Look around. Society has been transformed by numerous discoveries, innovations, and inventions. There's been unprecedented growth in independent journalism and media outlets. But I think that that's true, but it's because of the media is so trash. But it's so diluted with all these independent people, you can't find anything that's still worth the shit because you got to search. Or maybe you found somebody that you rely on, or whoever it is, they're not going to cover everything. So it's just a mess. Let me read some more. Edward Snowden is a patriot, and if Julian Assange disclosed inconvenient truths, he enlightened the sleeping public. The future is going to be crazy. When will they realize the earth is heaven they search for? I agree with that comment all the way. We live in heaven. We live in the Garden of Eden. Heaven is not no other place away from here. Here is it. Now is the only thing that's happening. Now is forever. There's infinite now, and that's it. What's happening now is it. There's no heaven over there away. It's not. So we need to take care of this and cherish this. It was created for us. We're floating on a bubble like in space. It's chaos. Space is chaos. And we have this safe little bubble that's freaking protecting us and giving us oxygen and food and everything we need. And we're fucking destroying it. Anyways, to quote, and earlier, because when I made the comment, because they talk about the CO2 levels, and I was all into that. You know, I ain't gonna say I'm a scientist because I'm not, but I studied that kind of stuff. I've taken classes on that kind of stuff, and I have been, you know, thinking that way for a while. But it's the basis is this though, you know, is Earth, you know, because I was thinking that way before I was educated, but then I got educated and then I was thinking differently. But then after being educated and then thinking about it some more, it's back to the same thing. It's the earth. It's really just taking care of the earth, like as far as having reverence for it. Have reverence for the trees, the ocean, the plants and animals and insects, everything. And it because it's God, it's the universe, it's what it is. So come on, you guys, that's what it is. And if everybody walked around and was cared, then we would cherish the earth. Leave it the way you found it. You know what I'm saying? Try not to harm, you know, take what you need and nothing more. That kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what we have to think. And let the oceans replenish. Let the rivers replenish. The earth will heal itself. We're just doing too much. All we have to have is that basic principle of, you know, honoring it, cherishing it, loving it, caring about it. Everything. The dirt, everything. And then we're not going to be pouring oil into it. We're not going to be chopping all the trees down. We're not going to be emitting all this air pollution. We're going to be trying to not do those things. That's the reason why I always go back to the Native Americans, specifically Native Americans, like Aboriginal Americans, because I think that those are some of the oldest cultures. And I think that they had a way of living. They lived thousands of years in balance with nature. You know, we want to say that our technology is so advanced, but like the wheel, they talk about the wheel. They say that these guys weren't advanced because they didn't even have the wheel. It's like they didn't have a use for the wheel. They didn't want to use the wheel. They knew that this was the wheels and streets destroy the freaking. They had a thing where they would say, leave it the way you found it. Technology did that. And they were able to be in balance with the universe for who knows how many thousands. We know this to be true because when the people came over here and they saw them living and they was like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? And even the people that when they came over here and saw that when they saw the people come over here, they was looking at them like, what the hell? Like, you know, because these people are living, it's like the difference between the balance with earth and imbalance. Simple as that. Simple as that. I think I'm gonna wrap it, y'all, because this show today is not going the way I wanted to, and I'm tired. Maybe that's why it's not going the right way. Yep, I think I'm gonna wrap it. Nobody came. I had dudes for a while. Then I had music in the background. I could probably, because now it's quiet. Maybe I'll do a little bit of scrolling before I go. Maybe something will pop up. Let me share screen. Give me a second.
home tonight, baby. What's going on, baby? What you said, Bree? Do something.
So fucking stupid. I can only engage with the debauchery so much. Man, I'm not gonna put him on blast, but I like this picture. That first one was really good. Looked like a magazine picture. This dude takes good pictures, bro. Bro, why you taking the pictures like that, bro? They too good, bro. You got the peak with the Air Forces, bro. What is you doing? I'm not gonna put him on blast. I'm not gonna say nothing.
Gary Bird. Okay, this is when the Buffalo disc jockeys came down to New York, and it was a black run radio station, white owned but black run. And then in 1975, a group of wealthy black folk, Percy Sutton, Charles Rangel, David Dinkins, one of the mayors, they bought Inner City Broadcasting. And then from there, they also had the rights to AM station, okay, which was Black Talk Radio. So between Black Talk Radio and Bob Law, phenomenal community activist, and this new type of music where they would take somebody like Marvin Gaye and blend and follow up a song by Marvin Gaye with a song by Frank Sinatra. Hank Spann. At the time, we had.
I don't know what the point of that is, but moving on. Oh shit! Did he break his leg?
So my instincts kind of kick in.
With others still unaware, Miles Copeland, player for the Toledo Glass City Basketball Club, sprints into action.
He doesn't have a pulse. He's not breathing.
He started doing CPR, even using a defibrillator, even before EMS arrived, and in doing so, saved the ref's life. And referee John Scully collapses mid-game.
I was on the bed.
Mid-game.
I was on the bed. So my instincts kind of kick in.
With others.
Does he have proper training for that? It sucks how people. First off, people are ignorant, but second, people are afraid of being sued and shit. And it's just, it sucks, man. It sucks. Why do we live in a society where if somebody is sick or hurting and you could possibly do something to help them, a lot of people will, not do it, not because they don't want to, but because they're afraid of the repercussions, negative repercussions. Like they don't want to deal with the drama that could possibly happen as a result of trying. And it's like somebody said something that the other day. They said, no good deed goes unpunished. And I say that all the time. So we had a whole last conversation after that because it's like, no good deed goes unpunished, man. It's so fucking true. But that goes back to what I was saying about the whistleblower. Like, you living in a society of fucking criminals and degenerates and basically evil if, no good deed goes unpunished. If that's a rule. Oh, you did something good? Come here. That's 8 lashes. The hell, man? Oh my gosh. Is that, would you call that a beer feeder? I mean, a bear feeder? Oh my gosh. I don't know. Well, whatever it was, he ate it. He's like, thanks.
Imagine being with someone day in and
2 big points to take away from this.
imagine being with someone day in and day out, and you
2 big points to take away from this. The first is Joe Biden should not be running this country. No one who has run his own family in this way should be in charge of anybody else. His behavior as a father is truly dark, even by modern standards. Biden should explain immediately why he inappropriately showered with his own daughter. He should be asked that at his next press availability. His chief of staff, Ron Klain, who runs the country, should be asked, you work for a man who showered with his own daughter and by her own account distorted the rest of her life because he did. How do you feel about that? And at that point, Joe Biden should resign. And at the very least, spend the rest of his life trying to repair his own children who need it badly. And the second point to make is that Biden is using the FBI as his personal secret police, dispatching them forward to crush and intimidate and prosecute people who get in his way or his family's way. Maybe that's not surprising from a guy who spent his entire life living off taxpayers. He believes he owns the Department of Justice, but he doesn't. And the fact he's behaving as if he does is scary as hell. We cannot let the FBI become enforcers for politicians and their families. If we allow that, it's the end of everything. Harmeet Dillon is managing partner of the Dillon Law Group. She represents Project Veritas in this case. She joins us tonight. Harmeet, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Tucker.
So we spoke about this when it initially happened, but it's ever more clear that Project Veritas and the woman who... Two big points to take away from this. The first...
I'm kind of frustrated with the amount of debauchery that seeped into today's episode, because that was just sensationalism right there. Sometimes Tucker has good stuff, but can't really. That's just sensational. Like, it had me for a second while I was listening to it, but then as I think about it, I'm like, so that's the point of it, to get you all like riled up, emotional. That's sensationalism. It doesn't really have value. It's just, let's see that. Anyways.
Just force us to eat whatever they put in front of us.
Because they was broke and had no time to cater 2 meals. My parents got off work at 5 o'clock. Picked us up. We got home at 6:30 at the earliest. A couple days before payday, my mother will open up the refrigerator and open up the cabinets. If she made pork and beans and hot dogs and you don't want it, then I guess you don't eat that night. Y'all sitting over here criticizing the last generation back then. They were in survival mode. We all know if you grew up around that era, you are the glue that keeps the world together. We know what freedom and struggling look like. I'm only 32 years old. I grew up in the 90s. You think the kids in the 80s, 70s, and 60s had a preference about what they wanted for dinner? No, you ate what your mama gave you. Now our generation have jumped from struggle mode to spoil mode. We done spoiled the heck out of y'all 2000s babies. Y'all come to dinner and y'all mama asks y'all what you want to eat. That's privilege right there.
He's right a bit. I don't know. I think that, in the past, one part of what he said, though, I would disagree on, is that people in the past who were able, I'm sure, let the kids eat whatever the hell they wanted to eat. So I think that has to do with your means, more than anything. But the other side of it, the kids are spoiled as fuck today. Yes, they spoiled as fuck. My kids spoiled as fuck.
Okay, you guys go up there. Oh, come on. Don't run. Do not run. Hey! Can we play dead now? Can we play dead? Griffin, walk faster, please. Hey, Bear! Following us.
Following us up the trail. Has no intention of...
Hey, Bear! Hey!
He wanted to see a bear.
He's following you, babe. Hey, Bear! Holy he's following you.
I would climb up on one of them rocks somewhere or something.
Hey! Go home!
Oh! Go!
Okay.
Okay, you guys go up there.
Oh, come on. Don't run. Do
They
not
can
run.
climb trees, though. That's a scary situation. That's where guns come in. That's where we need guns. Let one off in the air. That might work. If you get too close, pop him one time. He'll back up after that. This has gone viral right here. I've been seeing
Racing
this.
through my fucking neighborhood. Burning out racing through my fucking
told
neighborhood.
you not to. I'm not in your face. Get out of my neighborhood, fuckwad. Who got a gun? Who got the gun? The guy who's got a permit to carry it.
You got a gun?
What happened to the car?
Get a gun.
All right. All right,
Get
bro.
out of this neighborhood.
All right.
Get out of this neighborhood.
Did they mess up his car?
But y'all want to smash the fucking window? Smash the window?
Yeah, he did.
Right here, buddy. Right here. Tell me what you were doing. Burning out racing through my fucking neighborhood. Burning out racing through my fucking
I told
neighborhood.
you not to. I'm not in your face. Get out of my neighborhood, fuckwad. Who got a gun? Who got the gun? The guy who's got a...
So the guy was driving through the neighborhood. Maybe he was speeding through the neighborhood. I hate it when people do that. But I don't know about wrecking the guy's car. And this has gone viral. Apparently those guys were arrested. Let's see if there's comments. What's their names or whatever? Maybe I could pull this up right quick. I've been seeing this around. I don't really care. This is just like another one of those things that they kind of like, latch on to, again, separate people and get people all emotional and shit. But that's still fucked up. I gotta say that. You know what I'm saying? And it screams racism. No, they're just gonna make a bunch of comments I don't want to read. I thought maybe something will be useful in there, but it's not. Because I can't remember their names or anything, because I really don't care about this story. But those two guys got arrested. Let me see. Music. What's up? All right, I got you.
I don't got to.
Come on!
Go ahead, keep talking.
Come on, you motherfucker!
Keep talking. I'm a motherfucker. Hell yeah, keep talking. I'm not the one who doesn't have money.
Get out from behind that fucking cage! Mike, you're finished in business. Dave, you're fucking finished.
I'm showing this to the police, by the way. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, ooh, you know what the cops are gonna tell you? So shut that.
All right, go ahead. I'm calling the police on you. I'm going to show them the video. And they're going to gladly be happy.
No one else show up tomorrow morning.
Go ahead. I'm going to show the police.
Oh, I'm so scared.
That's perfect. Literally, that's beautiful. Hey, go ahead. Go ahead.
Shove the fucking phone up your ass sideways.
Yep, okay. Police is going to see this. They're going to love this phone.
Have your store closed.
Oh, yeah. From who? You?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I have no idea what was going on there. But that dude's neck. I don't want to make comments because I don't want to body shame, but he did look like a walking turd. Heartwarming video shows penguins returning home after being rehabbed. These Magellanic penguins were facing malnutrition and dehydration before they were rescued and rehabilitated by the Mundo Marina Foundation in Argentina. I'm always skeptical. Who knows what the hell they was really fucking doing? Hopefully it was something good. Most of the time we don't need to be messing with them at all. We just need to not be putting trash in
de estas patologías pueden ser el cambio climático, la escasez de alimentos y la contaminación medioambiental.
Like I said, I'm skeptical here. I hate to be Betty Downer, but Debbie Downer.
If you could be here or not, God don't promise no day, and God dang sure don't raise no scavengers or no heat.
Okay.
You gotta worship Him to get the word of Jesus, to get the word of God. We walking through Christ. We gotta walk through the Christ of the foot of Jesus Christ, because when the flood of the gates open, you have to let it go. Now, when God come down and the seven trumpets ring around, you are not supposed to move. God is coming down to show you about what you need to be learning in your lifestyle. See, I love to praise the Lord, but I also love to give God the glory. See, I'm looking to the foot of Jesus Christ. You probably don't know me, but I'm...
Okay, little guy.
He is now a brand new father. And obviously, Yailin is not the mother. The mother of the new baby is this woman right here. Her name is Melissa. And she's Colombian. Kind of funny, huh? Melissa is a 29-year-old Colombian woman who lives in Texas. In March, she announced that she was expecting a baby, but not just anybody's baby, Anuel's baby. According to the news out there, Anuel reacted appropriately, reacted in a nice way, but he just asked her for a paternity test. Well, the paternity test came back at 99.9%, meaning the baby is Anuel's. The new baby is a girl, and Anuel has yet to make any public statement about this. However, the mother has. She posted this on her Instagram. Welcome, baby girl. Thanks for bringing us so much happiness. We love you. This is not Anuel's first child. He actually has another kid, a male, and his name is Pablo. But yes, Anuel is once again a father, and Yailin is now a stepmother to another child. 3 days after Anuel got married to Yailin,
Somebody's been dipping in the Kool-Aid.
I don't care what the next person says to you. If you make an F on your card, which you should never make, the F doesn't stand for fail. The F stands for finna do better.
Worst holiday in the world. I've done the research. I already know. Let me tell you something. Mother's Day is the second most celebrated holiday in the world. Christmas is first. So that means it's Jesus, then your mama. You know what Father's Day fall at? Number 20. I can't think of 18 other holidays. Do you realize Halloween is number 6? That means ghosts and goblins go before fathers? Arbor Day is number 13. I don't even know what that is. I just know it come before me. That's crazy. Columbus Day is number 16. Celebrating Columbus Day is like celebrating somebody finding money in your house. Where you get that $50 from? I discovered it in your kitchen.
Yeah, man. Father's Day, man, is a huge rip. You end up paying for everything. Anyways, don't get me started. Huge rip. That's pretty cool looking. What is this? Oh shit. Guess it's just random earthquakes. I like this this page. They post cool stuff. Yeah, this is the one with the elephant. Did I play this before? Probably not, because the listening audience. So the elephant is crushing a carrot with his foot, like in his weight, and then eating it. Sound like bones. It's not bones, people. It's a carrot. It would be your bones though if he was pressing on you like that. Carrots are hard as fuck. If you know how hard they are, to crush it like that would take a whole lot of freaking pressure. Go ahead. Go try to crush a carrot. And tell me how far you get with that.
OG burger from the Trill Burgers from Button Fat. All right.
Yeah, I need to be doing better. Ben X.
Day that you think is a lot of money, 100,000, a million. I don't give a damn if it's $1 million a month. Bro, that ain't gonna mean nothing 10 years after you dead. It ain't gonna mean nothing 2 years after you dead. It ain't gonna mean nothing probably 1 year after you dead. When they come to that funeral, they not finna say, boy, that boy was making a lot of money. Oh, that sister was getting paid. No, they're going to talk about how you impacted them. They're going to talk about your character. They're going to talk about your integrity. They're going to talk about the way that you was. They're going to talk about your attitude. They're going to talk about how you impacted their life and about how they're going to remember you by the works and the deeds that you had while you was alive. That's true eternal life. The money that we chase.
I find it funny that he's saying that, and his message is great. But it's funny that he's saying that while he's driving this super nice ass fucking car. You can tell by the clip. I don't know what that is. I'm not on that level to be able to identify that car. But what I can say is, just from what I can see, is it's a very, 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 very nice car. Like the kind of car that most people never get to sit in. So I don't know. That's my problem with Ben X.
Restaurants. I saw it on Play With Your Mama Not Me's page, as well as Mississippi Queen.
See, he's preaching that shit, but I don't know if he's walking that shit. Oh shit, I did something.
As an unlicensed escort and even had 2 abortions. She has denied these allegations, which were put out by the same political action committee that tanked Madison Cawthorn's political career, the American Muckrakers PAC. And not only has she denied it, she's also threatening to sue them. This was posted on firebobert.com. Lauren Boebert was an unlicensed paid escort and met clients through sugardaddymeet.com. Text messages show that she was bankrupt at the time and looking for side income and called her work pay to play. The culture war of reproductive rights, which has been completely manufactured by the right wing, has been a tool for political power. And that tool for political power has severe consequences for the freedoms and the autonomy of women in this country. Lauren Boebert has officially responded to allegations that she once worked as an unlicensed escort and even had 2 abortions.
I guess I'm not following politics as much as I used to because I have no idea who Lauren Boebert is. I swear, I think this is the first time I've heard her name. It says, let's not forget about Bobo the Clown's #1 sugar daddy, Teddy Cruz. See, it's funny how y'all say this. They do this on the left and the right. So this is the Young Turks. The people on the left, they like make these sayings like this to make themselves sound clever. And the people on the right do the same thing. I wish y'all would stop it with that because you really sound stupid. It says, just to clarify, her hypocrisy is what's being judged. Sex work and abortions are fine. It's that she's against what she's benefiting from. That is the issue. I figured that's what they were trying to say. So I didn't know. So that's why I wanted to read a comment. So that's what I was thinking because it will make sense with them talking about it. Because on the left, they're, but so on the right, you're supposed to be, conservative. So that type of behavior wouldn't fall into the area of social conservatism. But see, that's what I be saying all the time is that people forget that you can be economically conservative and socially liberal. But at the same time, if you are branding yourself as a conservative and you're running, on that, and then and then on the flip side, I would say that, what people have done in the past, whatever, maybe this person is not on that shit no more. And you can't really judge them for whatever the hell they did in the past. You know what I'm saying? So maybe she's not on that shit no more. But at the same time, if you're running for office or whatever, and you're running on some, especially if you're like really dogmatic about some shit that you've done in the past. And I hate that shit. It seems like the immigrants that come over here are the worst ones on immigration. The illegal immigrants that come over here are the ones that try to burn the bridge down for the ones that's coming behind them. And judging them being illegal immigrants is not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about people being shitty to other people. Let me read some more comments. It says, this is how it always goes. Gay politicians fight against gay rights. Politicians who get abortions or whose side chicks get, hold on. It says, this is how it always go. It always is. Gay politicians fight against gay rights. Politicians who get abortions or whose side chicks get them fight against abortion. Black politicians don't believe in racism or white supremacy. Shit is crazy. That's a very good comment right there. That could have came out of my mouth. Let's get real. The Republicans are the race of babies. They hate the ladies. Oh, see, that goes another one of those really cool, clever little lines that make them feel smart. It could have been in a song. Definitely could have been in a song nowadays, but the songs nowadays are trash. So yeah. It says, if she sues, only more will come out. Yep. I think I'm gonna wrap it. My eyes are watering and shit.
Yeah. Why are you doing this?
What you got to hide?
Bring the phone.
God, that fool jumping that car like the Olympic Games.
Hey, give me my phone. I'll call the police.
It's top dog law you should call. Sue her for property theft.
Yeah, she's driving on the sidewalk. Hey, what kind of driving are you driving? Hey!
He's definitely going to need a lawyer for this one. She must be a cat with life to spare.
Hey, come on. Hey, somebody call Top Dog. Somebody also needs to call an ambulance at the same time. Somebody needs to call a...
That guy's pretty funny sometimes.
Got a lot of people trying to trade me in my head. Take away from me.
How you like that?
Don't play that. I was about to vomit.
What's the worst way to start your morning? Breakfast. What, like having to eat it, or like just the idea of breakfast?
I think that breakfast is the worst thing that's ever happened to humanity. Ever.
Why?
It's terrible. You're gonna wake up and just eat a bunch of food. You haven't had to do any work. You haven't had to hunt for that food, kill that food. You haven't made any money. You've done nothing of conquest. Nothing conquest orientated since you've woken up, and you're just sitting there and stuff your face.
So you have to earn your meals.
I think so. I think it's undeserved. I think when people wake up and the first thing they do is put food in their mouths, I think it's a bad mental model to approach the day with. I think you should wake up and you should stay hungry. You should stay hungry for a long time. Why not? We ain't gonna die. You can go weeks without food. You should wake up and you should stay hungry for hours and hours and hours until you've made some money or done something of note or been to the gym or progressed in some way. So you think I deserve some.
I don't agree with that at all. Bull fucking shit. Now, as far as eating in the morning, maybe it's not a good idea to eat in the morning. But him saying, like, if you want to eat in the morning, eat in the fucking morning, bro. Like, this is that culture that we live in. This fucking, when you get off of work, you must ain't hungry enough if you're not working some more, like another job. And like, I don't know, man. And it's like that in the States, and a lot of countries around the world are not like that. Over here in the States, it's like grind. You have to be making money all the time. He's like, you didn't earn the food that you're eating this morning. What about the work you did yesterday? Maybe I gathered some food for me to eat this morning. Maybe I went yesterday and picked some apples and shit. And I'm fucking gonna eat an apple in the morning when I wake up. Get the fuck out of here, man. And you can easily get sucked into this way of thinking because we get drilled with this shit and brainwashed with this shit. Texas property taxes are skyrocketing, stunning homeowners. The pinch is in. It says a Chambers County homeowner's property was valued at $65,000 in 2021. This year, it increased to $382,000. And he isn't the only one seeing an astronomical hike. What the fuck? That means sell it. I'm selling it this year. Fuck that. I'm putting it on the market this year for $382,000. Fuck that. I don't know. Maybe somebody will buy it. I don't know. Hell no, I wouldn't pay that. I'm not paying that. Y'all can shove that bill up your ass because I'm not paying that shit. I'm putting the house up. Fuck y'all. Anyways, I'm finna wrap it, y'all. Unless somebody want to jump in here before I decide to wrap it. Donate to the damn show, y'all. Enjoy the show. Want support? You can at Cash App, King Chuck ENT. It's probably the best way to do it right now. There's other ways, but I think that's the great, straightforward way. I'm gonna keep it coming, y'all. It's some stuff I didn't get to, and I swear I want to get around to it. So I'm either gonna do a show tomorrow. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might do a show tomorrow. We're gonna see, because there's some stuff I didn't get to, and I really want to cover that stuff. So I'm not sure how that's gonna work out, but at some point I'm gonna definitely come on. I don't know when. I'm not gonna guarantee it for tomorrow. And that India stuff, I'll probably talk about that next week. We'll talk about India next week. I think I meant to do that already, and I still keep forgetting. I need to make a note. I used to keep my notepad next to me. Now that I be doing this show so much, a lot of this shit is in my head, and I don't fucking write as much notes down as I used to. Because my phone is fucking full of notes, so now I gotta search through the shit to fucking find the note that I'm looking for. I need to delete all that shit and clean it up, but whatever. I'm gonna have to wrap it, y'all. Peace and love. Thank you for joining. We'll be back. Same bat channel, same bat time. I'm gonna do some chops of this shit. Y'all watch some of the chops for me, man. Click like and up, share and like some of this shit. Like, go to the page and watch some of the old videos. I'll be making clips, and they're really cool. And I'm everywhere. So whatever fucking place you want to fucking stream this shit, it's there.